Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching GEEKCASTER, everything sci-fi, fantasy, pop culture commentary. There's 7. I'm here with Drew, and we're gonna be talking about some things over there.
Yeah. I thought Davion was supposed to be joining us, but I guess we'll
shout out to Davion.
Yo.
We got some Thunderbolts. We got some tech stuff, some toy stuff. You have a complaint a little bit about the size of some of the action figures and stuff?
Oh no, mine are great. They're 1/12 scale, and when you're dealing with that, you're talking about basically articulated figures that come with items that are about this big. This looks bigger than it actually is on the camera, but these things, if they fall into carpet, it's you're become Indiana Jones trying to carefully find it before you next vacuum or a pet gets to it or anything else.
And it's not the triangle. I mean, it's not that. It's that little piece in between.
Oh no, it's not the tray itself. Yeah, these are actually cigarettes. To clarify, they come in these little trays. You pop them out of the trays. You can put them in the figure's hands.
Wow.
And hands will be about this big, like I showed you before. They can hold the items, but if they fall out onto the carpet, there you go.
You're done.
You're off to the races. So
you're
you can find
done.
it. It'll be like annoying, and I lost a face somewhere in the carpet, so I have to look after the show for him.
Wow.
But yeah.
So let's start out with Thunderbolts. This is a film we did not necessarily ask for, but we were given. How was it?
So I literally walked out of it about an hour ago. Just came out. It was 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'd say, like, while big chunks of it could have been cut out, I think, in places. Especially this. I'm sick of this ad-lib dialogue that they do where the whole film just stops so they can just repetitively just make jokes and be just goofy for an extra minute and a half. Stop doing that, Marvel. Knock that off. Hone it in. Get more focus. Stop trying to make the actors just jaw on for minutes at a time. They do that a lot in this movie.
Right.
But aside from that, it was alright. Like, I think I might have said that before we were talking about it. I'm like, if I walked out and said it was alright for an MCU movie these days, it's not bad, it's not terrible, it's not excellent, but it was alright.
Now, is it one of those you could have waited and just streamed it at home, or is it no? This is something you got to watch in the theaters.
There are certain scenes and sequences in this that I would say I'm glad I saw on the big screen.
Okay.
For action in particular, I'll give it. While it wasn't like amazing, the action sequences were pretty competent. They were pretty well made. There are certain shots that. Well, are we talking spoilers before we even get in further? Because I didn't even stop to think about that.
Yeah.
Are we talking spoilers?
No.
Okay.
Not really.
Okay. All right. So
you could spoil a little of it.
We die. I mean, the good parts, the things I guess I could say I really enjoyed, would require some spoiler-ish territory. So I'll try not to give everything away, but I promise y'all nothing. This is the warning before the warning. So yeah, some of the action sequences I think were pretty well thought out. They could have been played off a little more like dynamic. A lot of it is like, we're complaining that it's always the quick cuts.
Right.
They don't do it in this one necessarily.
Well, that's good.
But what they do show you when the camera is stable and you're seeing like the characters moving and stuff, it's not the best of the Marvel cinematic stuff.
Gotcha.
It's it's passable action sequences, it's passable fight choreography.
Okay.
Plot was it was there. Things happened. There's a first act, second act, and a third, and then of course there's a little epilogue at the end of the credits. Nothing amazing, but I will say that they do kind of know how to do, I guess, their version of the Suicide Squad is what this is, I guess.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was feeling. It was
bringing a bunch of kind of haphazardly unstable. You're right, competent in certain ways, but completely inept in others, grouped together. That worked for the most part. With David Harbour's character, he plays what was his name? Grid Guardian, basically like the Russian equivalent of the super soldier serum. What happens? He's okay. I always think of him as like Russian Homer Simpson.
He plays it that way too.
He plays it up that way. He's like a Russian Homer Simpson dad type to Yelena, who I actually like. I think I like. What's her name? Florence Pugh's version of this character more than like Scarlet Widow.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know, just because she gets beat up, she gets like she's grizzled, she's messed up. While we all liked Scarlet Widow, right? And when it was played by what's her name, Scarlett Johansson. When ScarJo was her, she's cool and all. She's a cool character. But I kind of like Yelena more, just by how just grizzled and unkempt she is all the time. And it just makes for like interesting stuff when she does actually get a win, because that's the joke of the movie is the Thunderbolts name is the name of her soccer team from when she was a kid, and they were notorious for never winning a game.
Interesting.
So that kind of becomes like the joke of the movie, and while again they drag on a little too long with the bit of her being on a crappy soccer team as a kid, it does kind of round out to making them like a likable team towards the end.
Now, the actress is Florence Pugh, right?
Yeah. She's been in quite a few things by now, but yeah, I like her. She's a good actress.
She's good and she's believable. Like, a lot of we talked about this for the last couple of years. Just don't hire anybody, male or female, where it's not believable. Like, let me believe they could fight. Let me believe, and she's believable.
She is. She does. This is coming from. I saw it with one of my moms, the stepmom. So she mentioned that she saw a behind the scenes bit about Florence doing the stunt where she jumps off the first one. Feels like it's the first scene in the movie,
right?
Where she jumps off the skyscraper, and all the technical stuff that she did while filming that one.
Right.
And yeah, there's a physicality to it that I think that she embodies with that particular character, with Yelena. And when she's fighting and doing her thing, it's more believable, to your point. It's definitely more believable. And again, I just like that she's kind of like a grislier, more gnawed up version of her sister. She's not just the replacement Scarlet Widow where she's posing and voguing and looking all good. I'm like, no. She's not. Yelena doesn't do elegant. She's likable, I think, because she can kind of just get in with the work, and she gets all dirty. Her hair's all messed up, and I'm like, hon.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's what we need, and she gives it.
Yeah, the rest of them, it's a mixed bag. I think that they ultimately make it to where you get that interpersonal play with the characters. Walker is not Captain America. He's the Captain America that nobody likes. He's surprisingly good in this. Just because you kind of see like what happens to him and him trying to uphold this mantle of being a Captain America type person, but no, you're not approved. You're not the socially accepted Captain America. So seeing that kind of superhero archetype play with the others and kind of like have that interpersonal bit, that was fun. And Ghost, she was kind of the chick that played the Ghost. She could like disappear and all that stuff. She was there. There's not really much to it. I can't say that there was much to like her in the way of development or anything.
That's Ava Star, right?
I think so. I'm not sure. Okay. I didn't even remember which one she was in initially.
Gotcha.
She was in what, Ant-Man? The second Ant-Man?
I think so.
All right, and I didn't even see the third.
Played by Anna John Kamen, if I have that correct.
She's there. The Ghost chick is there. Taskmaster is there for like a minute. Anybody who's a Taskmaster fan, y'all are taking some L's right now, bro. But without spoiling too much, he's there for a moment.
Anytime DC or Marvel go this route to try to revive or to gain interest in some of these characters that they own, it becomes this underdog trying to prove if this is going to be good or not. And a lot of times, it's just legal reasons. Well, we own it, so let's do something with it so that way we can keep the copyright or the trademark, whatever like that. Sometimes it's not just like they have to kind of throw it out there.
I'll say that, I can't absolutely confirm, but from what I repeatedly hear when it comes to like productions and film and television, whatever concept, whatever idea, whatever thing that you're trying to shoot, you're always going to have to factor in corporate meddling, like the executives meddling and telling you what you can and can't have in the film. We don't like how you film that, reshoot it. We don't, this didn't screen well, this didn't test well within an audience, so take it out. It doesn't matter how awesome the idea could be or how well it was shot. You're going to get that in your film invariably. So it's just kind of the nature of the beast in dealing with, the corporate machine, as it were.
Right.
But
So remember,
overall,
for years we were like waiting for Fantastic Four until they got the rights.
well, then Fan Four Stick happened, and then there was a whole fiasco that
Right.
had to do all the reshoots, that had all the production nightmare stuff.
Mhm.
Whatever Josh Frank's plan for that one was, it got lost in that kind of corporate thresher where you have executives and producers and everybody kind of in your ear, and between that dueling with the vision that the director may have, you get a mess. You get whatever it was. So it happens. It's unfortunate. But this one, I think it's one of the better of the new age MCU stuff overall. It was one of the better ones. For me, I would say it's like kind of a one and done. I don't really see myself rewatching this in any like number of times. It's unfortunately, I will say again without spoiling too much, it's doing the thing where you're watching a movie, but the movie kind of just culminates on what's going to be the next movie that you should be going to.
That was my next thing. Does this build a road to the next Marvel film?
It's more like this felt more like a bridge movie. We're setting up the next big film, y'all. So we're going to assemble this team in this film, have them do a thing, right? And then once they do said thing, we'll see you in the next one.
Gotcha.
Because now they're a team and stuff. So it's kind of, superhero movies doing superhero movie stuff. Par for the course at this point.
So what's next? Which movie does this take us to?
Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Which might be interesting. I don't know. There's a couple. I do have a couple.
Wait a minute. How does that work? Because Fantastic Four takes place.
It's supposed to be in like some different version of the 60s or something like that. We talked about that before.
Right.
But at 7, I can't spoil anything. But yeah, I don't know how they're going to pull that off. They teed up something with the epilogue that made me go, okay, cool. I'll go see that one. But how are we doing this if the Fantastic Four is supposed to take place in the past? Are we doing timey-wimey stuff now?
Right.
On top of the multiverse stuff? So we'll have to see.
It's taking place now. But in another now.
right, yeah, another now that was like 15 minutes earlier than ours, or like 15 years earlier than ours, or something.
Right.
I don't know.
And who's the main villain in Fantastic Four?
Isn't it supposed to be Robert Downey? Isn't that what that is, or is he the Avengers one?
Oh, I think it is.
He's Doctor Doom. He's a Fantastic Four villain, so I would assume that would be him. But no, we're either getting Galactus, which is a hell of a way to start off a Fantastic Four thing. We're going to open with Galactus, the guy that eats the planets. It'll either be Doctor Doom to Galactus, or vice versa, Galactus to Doctor Doom, working in reverse. So.
And have you stayed abreast of the Jonathan Majors? Yes, he's going to do a cameo, because it went from, because of legal issues and press, he's not going to be in the Marvel universe. He might be in the Marvel universe. They are bringing him back. Then it's like, well, just have him do a little something and leave.
They're going to probably like shoot him off some type of way. He was supposed to be the big bad, and then things happened in real life that carried over into the films. So now he's going to probably be relegated to like, what would be an example? You know what they're probably going to do to him? Do you remember when way back at the beginning of Marvel's run at like between Avengers movies, how they introduced Van Strucker, the guy with the eye patch?
Oh, it was like one random.
He was a random guy. He shows up. He acts all menacing when he's at the tail end of his introduction, but then by the second movie, he's literally taken out in like the first 10, 15 minutes of the joint. They're probably going to do something like that to Kang. He's going to kind of just be there. Wow. He did some villainous stuff in other films, and then he just gets taken out, and then that'll be how they just kind of issue that character off the stage. Just a guess. I could be completely wrong. I might be throwing some month's time, but that's what I'm thinking.
I hope not. That's a great character.
He had potential. I was curious to see what they were going to do with all the different iterations of him. That was the one thing I think I took out of the Loki series when it wasn't being a poor man's Doctor Who. Like, what I took from that was them framing Kang as like this multi-purpose villain. Sometimes I'm a conqueror, other times I'm a politician, sometimes I'm a dignitary. I'm like, I don't know. To me, that just really appeals to like that sci-fi nerd that likes the Doctor Who supervillain stuff.
Right.
But it wasn't meant to be, I guess. Wasn't meant to be.
We'll see. Just let it go. Marvel, just let it go.
We'll see. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not going to be like, you should be beholden to do this Marvel stuff, Jonathan Majors. I'm like, there could be a better project out there that might be more lucrative. Right. So rather than tether yourself to just being kind of the runoff D-list sub villain, like go do something else. Just let them give you your last check and then go off and go do something awesome.
True.
That's all I could recommend for that.
Right. There are more films to be had.
Yeah, we could get like, I don't want to go this route. Remember how we were talking about Sinners? Mm-hmm. And we were talking about how like they're probably going to do a sequel because it did too well, even though it's not necessary.
Right.
Okay. You know what they could do? In a sequel, it's about the husband of Perlene, because I didn't really know if Perlene was lying or not. If Perlene actually didn't have a husband, Jonathan Majors comes back looking for Perlene, and through somehow some retroactive crap, we can find out that maybe Perlene lived that night. Maybe there was a river right there. They're all running we see a bunch of vampires running towards the barn, or the what's not a barn, where they were having the party.
Right.
Right, they're having the party, and maybe she wasn't among them. Maybe she ran and dumped into the water and hid out, and now Perlene's alive as a vampire, and it's her husband trying to find her. Mm. I don't know, but if they do go with the sequel and they can't resist, I think that would be a way to go, if we had to.
Right.
Played by Jonathan Majors, maybe. I don't know. That could be a thing.
I do want to see him in something else. And not, something on the level of his acting ability.
Yeah. He'll find something. I'm not too worried about it. Like he'll find some way for himself out there.
Random question. Or we have time I could tag that off at the end. No, let me ask you. Crypto. What's your
like, as in the currency?
Yeah, like so.
Oh God, we've gotten here.
I mean, what is your take on all that?
Man, I'm 38. I'm like close enough to old head territory to where I can kind of just be over the whole thing and say I'm too old for this ish. But I mean, I have some. I have a cursory knowledge of it. I know what it is. My only, I guess, not even a criticism. It's just my only thing is what utility is it ultimately going to have? And it's, as it's used, the way that it's currently used, it's kind of just a guessing game and kind of the new age pyramid scheme where you have a bunch of rich, wealthy people throw money into a pot. It garners a buzz. People buy into that buzz. People make a payday, whether you're lucky or not. It's like a step above the lottery, basically. Mm-hmm. It's all kind of a guess. And then there's the idea floating around that it could be used as I don't know, what would be like in Star Wars? We got Republican credits.
Right.
It could be like some kind of currency if we ever colonized on Mars. I'm like, humans can't make Earth work, but why would we be on Mars with a different type of currency?
Right.
I don't know, but maybe.
It's like a game of hot potato, and whoever gets caught at the end gets screwed. The reason why I thought about that is because I saw a clip that the current president of the United States of America has his own currency, and people bought into that. And I mean, it went down in value. But people jumped on, and again, whoever sold it quick made a lot of money.
I mean, I guess there was when it came to the whole Bitcoin thing, right? There was a time when they were giving it away, and I still, to this point, I watched the movie Dope, so we can tie this into some type of film type of thing because I hate crypto. But the film Dope, it made me think. At the end of that movie, I'm like, is Bitcoin a thing? Is that something that I need to be buying into? Should I look into that and research it? And I did a bit, and then lost interest. It just seemed like it was a hypothetical. I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. But there was a time when they were giving Bitcoin away.
Right.
And as of now, however many $100,000 like each Bitcoin is worth, I'm low-key kicking myself in the ass on I should have bought that, and then I'd be done. I'd be retired and just writing right now and making action figures.
Right.
But it's like, again, a step above the lottery in that regard. There could be the next thing. There was the Dogecoin thing a ways back. That was the AMC fiasco when it came to like people in stocks and stuff.
Right.
It's all in that sphere of like, what are you willing to invest your money in, and weighing the risk.
Was it GameStop?
There was the GameStop thing. Yeah, that was another one too. Like multiple people that I know, we were in on it. There was a pot. We were messing around. Everybody threw in a couple ducats just to see what would happen. And there was full transparency. I made a little money off of that, but it's like not something. By the time that I was done with it, I'm like, I hate this whole environment.
Right.
I'm gonna take what I got, and I'm done. Right. So it's play at your own risk. It's crypto on the whole thing. It could be worth something, but be very careful. Know what you're getting into, and don't put in. I would say just words of quasi wisdom. Don't invest more than what you're willing to lose. It's that simple.
That's very good advice.
You might make something. Yeah, you might make something. You might make nothing. But just be careful of what you put in. Be cautious.
You know what I find fascinating, and I'll probably bring this up several times because I find it so fascinating. So if you're watching the show GEEKCASTER, you always go to GEEKCASTER.com. If you're watching us on cable, that's great, or on IG, Instagram. So I think it's very interesting how people will invest in different companies or these get-rich schemes, but they won't invest in themselves.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Much rather take the what's the phrase that they use at the Wise call it, like the road of less resistance.
Right.
I'd rather just buy into this and hope that it works out than just put in my own kind of rigor and blood, sweat, and tears.
Right. Because I remember during the time of COVID, I'm not going to say the app, but there was this app. All of a sudden, everybody became a stock guru. Remember during that time, everyone all of a sudden got into stocks?
Everybody was in the stock market after,
because of the apps. You could just go to the app and I could buy this, and everyone became a genius.
Everyone became like a day trader and all that.
And wow, if a lot of the people during that time, if they took that same energy towards their own dreams and things that they were interested in, can you imagine what they would have right now?
I mean, I hear where you're coming from, but I'll say this.
Mm-hmm.
Every plight has to have a starting point.
Mm.
And much like how in like The Godfather, you had Corleone had his first job where he was like a grunt, and then you ascend to become the Godfather. It's like everybody's logic is you do this thing now to invest in what you want, what your dreams or your passion to be. Right. And I understand, taking some extra steps and doing some side missions to make that initial, to make that blue. I get it. We all do it. Most people have multiple jobs or a hustle, a side hustle or 2 or 3 nowadays. Right. We do to make ends meet and to get that little extra for what we want to invest in.
Right.
I'm all for that. Absolutely, we have to. Like, we just kind of have to, just as a culture, as a species, as folks, just in society, we got to do that. So, I'm not mad at it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Actually, now that you think about it, now that I think about it, because the way you worded that, I'm thinking of where things possibly can go, which is why crypto doesn't work for me. Because if stuff hits the fan, or there's some sort of electric outage or something, what are you doing?
What do you think the worst case scenario would be in that? Like, what are you speculating?
People will lose everything.
Like all savings. Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't trade. Well, I have these magical credits somewhere.
These imaginary metaphysical ducats,
right,
somewhere out there in the ether.
Right.
Like, I promise, trust me, bro. It's there. I'm a quadrillionaire. I'm a trillionaire.
Right.
Just with the myopic coin.
I went to a meeting.
Here, I got all the dude bucks, man. Here, just trust me.
Just trust me.
I know it's nebulous. It's nebulous.
Also, before we go, and if you have time, we could do another one because I definitely want to have that industry conversation with you. But I remember one of the first times someone talked to me about Bitcoin, and they were like, this is revolutionary. we're creating a space to have freedom, and we're controlling our own destiny and going against the man. They really built this thing like it was revolutionary, but the powers that be that control the finances, the big companies, are not, either they're going to dip into that too and find a way to control it. They're not going to give up all the riches in the world to the common man and woman. They're just not going to.
Yeah, they're going to let something like that go without them having some kind of like barbs in it that they can tax to death and utilize when they need it. And so.
And the elephant in the room with that one is that at the end of the day, who knows if they're really behind it? Because right now, money is imaginary, right? It's not backed by, at least not in this country, not backed by gold. It's not backed by a limited resource. So you can just keep printing, and make more. And the only reason why some of the richest people in the world are so rich is because there's no limit.
There's no real, when it comes to like, okay, this is something I definitely have to look more into on my own time and to be 100% accurate. So without misspeaking or giving misinformation, I'll say that we do have physical currency. We have gold, we have silver, we have like physical dollars and stuff. But the vast majority of transactions that are done are digital. It's like through digital currency and all that other stuff.
Right.
So, yeah, it's when you can't really, at the end of the day, have a tangible thing to determine what currency is, and it's all a bunch of zeros and ones. Like, at what point does it become like, are we already in like the metaphysical stuff? We're kind of already there.
Right.
We're already using Republican credits, but we just call them dollars in the line. It's literally your in my bank account is just that digital number, like in the little readout when you look at our account.
Right.
We can take physical money out of it to an extent, but even that's even that's limited.
Right.
You can only take out $100 here on this day between these hours. It's like, okay.
Right.
The world.
Yeah. The world, mimicking the movies that we grew up with. Total Recall.
We write it down because it's what we live, I think. Like I genuinely think that like all these concepts that we have, we like our ancestors experienced it, so they wrote about it. We experience it, so we write about it. Those who follow after us, they're going to read it and they're going to write about it from their condition. That's what we do. Art imitating life and all that good stuff.
Right. And life then imitating
and
art.
vice versa, rather. I would say life becoming the art, effectively.
Becoming the art, yeah. Yeah. So we got about 3 minutes left. Any movies coming out that you're excited about?
I might have mentioned this before, so sorry if I sound like a broken record. There's 28 Years Later. That's the next one that I'm planning on seeing.
I want to see that.
Yeah, we have like television shows. Still catching up on From. I'm actually going to watch that after I'm done here. I'm going to get back on that for season 3. Because season 4 that is either started or it's starting soon-ish. So that's From. We can talk about that more next time. What else? Anime-wise, Fire Force, because that is my jam. I'm hyped that it's in its 3rd season. I'm 4 in. I'm gonna go check that out after the show. Make something to eat, check that out, and I think that's up to the minute. If there's anything else, we'll post on like the socials and stuff.
Not hearing anything about it, but I'm looking forward to Brother Voodoo.
Oh, is that a thing? They're going through with Brother Voodoo?
Yeah.
I don't know. A movie or show?
Movie.
Who's like?
What's his name? Lakeith
Stanfield, whatever his name is. The guy that played L in the crappy live action. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know about it.
And he was in
Get Out. He's been in a lot of stuff.
Out.
He's not that here.
He was in Get Out, and he was in that kind of Jesus movie thing they tried to do.
Yeah, the book of something.
The Book of Something, right?
I can't remember what his name was in it, but yeah, he's a good actor, but I don't see him as Brother Blue.
Right.
It's.
All right, well, hold that right there. Let's do another one. Thank you, everybody, for watching GEEKCASTER. Again, you can always go to GeekCaster.com, GeekCaster on Instagram, and, of course, GeekCaster on YouTube. And we're out of here.